Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to explain to you about a problem in syntax that the majority of us have experienced. And the problem is the subject-verb agreement. So first I'm going to give you a first explanation of this. And the introduction says, this study generally focuses on location and analyzing subject-verb agreement errors in students' writing, and the results usually indicate that subject-verb agreement is more problematic in the present simple because of the third person singular inflection, the letter S and ES. In addition, the result of these studies also revealed that the students do not often apply the third person singular inflection to a grammatical person, and therefore few researchers have investigated subject-verb agreement with third person singular verb forms. Hence, the present study focuses on subject-verb agreement errors committed by the student when dealing with the third person singular in the simple present in order to analyze the misuse of this verb form and find out the causes behind the student's errors. Okay, the idea here is to understand why students are facing these troubles at the moment of using the third person singular or the famous letter S after the main verb. Okay. Now I'm going to explain you the theoretical background of this study because it's important to know what is a subject-verb agreement about. The rule for subject-verb concord is usually very simple, and it takes into consideration that a singular subject requires a singular verb and a plural subject needs a plural verb. This means that if one element is singular, the other element also needs to be singular. But what I mean when they say singular and plural, singular is just one person, and plural could be two or more people. Okay. So in this case, the subject, when the subject is singular, could be she, he, it, and plural could be they, we. So in we are two or more people, and she is just one person. In this case, if the controller, in this case, the subject is singular, the target could be the verb, needs to be singular as well. They work together to make the sentence grammatically correct. For this research, there were participants. The corpus is composed by 155 participants and 246 writing samples, and it consists of the students' spontaneous writings in response to a compulsory online forum from the non-linguistic subject. So for these were the participants for this investigation. The results, now I'm going to explain the result and the errors that they did at the moment of performing this investigation. Okay, the first one is error of omission. Error of omission are those that refer to the absence of an item that must appear in a well-formed structure. So in this case, it could be said that there is one missing word in the sentence. The sentence is almost correct, but there is one missing word that is necessary to have the sentence grammatically correct. One example could be when we use with or which it takes, or another one could be, let me give you one example. If we use the relative pronoun which, so you need to take another word could be a noun or a pronoun in order to make sense before the verb, not which and the verb. So it is necessary to have the word missing there. It could be a noun or a subject. Error of addition. Addition errors are identified by the presence of an item which must not appear in a well-formed sentence. This is the opposite of the previous one. In the previous one, there's one missing word. In this one, there is one word that doesn't need to be in the sentence. So the error of addition are divided into 3 categories: addition of the pronoun it, addition of the verb to be, and addition of the auxiliary verb does. So It could be say, in addition of pronoun it, the sentence could be which means, which is the correct form, but the people in the case, student wrote that which it means. In this case, it is not necessary because which is describing or make a complement to the previous to the to the to the previous word. So this word, the word it is not necessary. And the addition of the verb to be. Some people could say that the majority of us to be, the majority of us be agrees. Be agrees. As you can see, the correct form could be the majority of us agree, not to be or be agrees. So in this case, the verb to be, it is not necessary at all. It doesn't have any important element. It is not an important element in the sentence. It majority of agree, not be agrees. In addition of the auxiliary verb does. The auxiliary verb does is maybe confused at the moment of when using double H word that are almost used at the double H question. The sentence could be knowing what it means is the correct form, but we are accustomed to using the auxiliary does or do with the verb in questions. So it could be that they wrote that it could be knowing what does it mean. They're using the question form instead of the correct sentence form. Now, the error of misformation. Misformation error consists of the wrong form of the morpheme or structure. We have three categories: disagreement with grammatical person and number, inappropriate items, and wrong to infinitive structure. In this one, the first one, disagreement with grammatical person and number, is when the students, in this case, use or add the third person when there is no third person. It is wrong to me to say that I say I thinks, I means, they believes. The grammatical person is not according to one person is singular and the verb is not singular. So there is a problem. They confuse these elements and they write the letter S when the letter S for the third person form, it is not necessary. Now, the other element, inappropriate items, is when they wrote the sentence and they want to say beliefs or thoughts, but they wrote things. The sentence could be things and ideas instead of thoughts and ideas, and beliefs instead of belief. They misconfuse the word because they are very similar, and so it is another problem. The wrong to infinitive structures. We know that after the preposition to, the infinitive form, it could follow by the next verb. The verb needs to be in infinitive form or base form. The students wrote in this case that in order to becomes, in order to improves. So the letter S, or the third person form is not necessary in that way. So, and now another could be in the verb want, it is want to. They use the third person after the to. Want to improves. So they're misusing the preposition or the infinitive form. Now we have the error or misordering. Misordering error referred to the incorrect placement of a morpheme or group of morpheme in an utterance. Here, there is that the whole sentence or part of the sentence is not well structured. The words are changed. The words change their position, the position that needs to have in order to be grammatically correct. So in this case, we have affirmative and negative declarative sentence, indirect questions, and relative clauses. And the first one, they could say in a wrong way, always appears the same contents. Always appears the same content. When the correct form is the same contents or the same content always appear. If I say content, it could be appear. If I say content, it could be appears. And when I say contents, it could be appear. So the first sentence, they completely change the word, the order of the word within the sentence. In the indirect question, they again misconfuse the question with a sentence. Because they use in the sentence they're using the double H words that always or majority of the time are used to make questions. The sentence could be in the right way, how fast change our society. But in the wrong way, how fast our society change. Because it is the order, but it is missing the auxiliary in this case. In this case could be thus. So in the last one, the relative clauses, that the after a relative noun, it could be there in the wrong way, which tells it's exact. In the right way could be which exact tells. So in this case, as you know, the relative clauses are used to add more information to the sentence. So in this case, the subject comes before up, came or comes before the verb plus the, or the case subject plus verb. We have the conclusion. As seen from the results of analysis above, subject-verb agreements continue to be an area of difficulty for the Spanish students who were included in this research. The result of this analysis indicate that subject-verb agreement should be given due attention because the students seem to understand the third person singular present ending. But the main problem is that they are using it in multiple contexts where it shouldn't apply. This error reflects inadequate or incomplete learning of the target language. In this case, the students understand the rule, but they don't understand the rule at 100%. They have some problems. They overuse the third person form because they confuse when in this case the modals in one case, but if after they could also add the letter S in the modal, they could say she cans or she can says instead of she can say. So it is an overuse of the third person they are accustomed because they are not familiarized to the English and they need to practice more about the third person singular. Here I have some solutions that could help to the students to understand or to finally handle to write sentence or use the subject verb agreement in the right way. One could be for write 2 columns, and 1 column could be any subject. It could be in singular or in plural or numbers. According to the subject, number 1 could be singular, number 2, 3, 4, or the rest could be plural. And in another column, make a list of verbs in the base form or the third person form. They have to create sentences by using both of them, the sentence, the subject, sorry, and the verb. Another solution is to practice a lot. Until a student makes familiarized of the third person form. Another solution could be that as a teacher provide a list or some sentences in which the third person form is, or the subject verb agreement, it is not well used. It could be sentence wrong, grammatically correct, And then a student have to analyze which of these sentences are correct or which or are incorrect in order to make them feel secure about they understand what is the right way and what is the wrong way. So there's are some solution, a few solutions, then the student will fill, but the important thing here is to practice in practice. The third person, the subject verb agreement just will become more improved if you as a student of the second language, in this case English, practice and practice a lot. This is the best solution for this problem. You need to practice every little time that you have to improve this problem that you have in the subject verb agreement. Here we have the references in order for you, if you want to read more about this amazing and beautiful topic. So thanks for attention and thanks for watching. See you in another video.